As a white woman on Black TikTok and as a white woman who has visited, I think I'm at like 20 countries at this point, the whole concept that white Americans are not as cleanly as maybe other races or other cultures, it is true. Now, before all the white people come for me, obviously this is not the case for every single white person. It doesn't even have to be the case for you. But as someone who has friends of all races and has lived in and visited numerous different cultures, like, white Americans have a very unique concept of cleanliness. Just to give an example, I ran into my neighbor today and I was like, oh my God, I love you wearing a hat. She just looks so cute with a hat. And she was like, oh yeah, I threw it on because I didn't feel like showering the last few days. That's actually kind of normal. That's actually not an abnormal thing in white culture. That is like completely normal and definitely something I grew up doing. You would not shower every single day. And I saw another white woman break down this whole thing, and it was so interesting. And she said, I'll have to find it, but she said something about like growing up, they'd be like, oh, well, if you swam in the pool or the lake, like, you don't need a shower. Like, I'm pretty sure I was told that sentiment as well. Just the whole ideas around cleanliness are so different. Now, I'm also coming from a background of the South, so Alabama, Georgia, Florida are where I've spent a lot of my time. I've traveled all over the world, and for example, I was just in Tokyo for a few weeks, and they are just so much more clean. They wash and shower and wash their actual hair.
You ever notice how people will defend the most questionable habits with full confidence, like it's normal? Yeah, this one might surprise you. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. So this guy pauses halfway through a 4-minute video just to process what he's hearing, and honestly, I get it, because what he's describing is wild. He's talking about people proudly saying they don't wash properly. Some even laughing about not using soap or a washcloth like it's some quirky lifestyle choice. And what's crazy is how casual it's become. What's a washcloth? Like it's some kind of alien invention. Imagine working out, sweating all day, and then just jumping into bed or being intimate without ever actually cleaning yourself. That's not minimalist hygiene. That's just neglect disguised as confidence. But here's the deeper layer. This isn't just about hygiene. It's about accountability and standards. Because the same people who skip the basics are often the loudest when it comes to judging others, especially in relationships. How can you expect high-value treatment when you don't even meet basic self-care standards? We live in a time where people romanticize laziness, call it self-acceptance, and then get defensive when someone points out the obvious. It's not hate to expect cleanliness. It's respect for yourself and for the person next to you. And the fact that some folks were offended just by this topic being discussed tells you everything about where society is at. People would rather argue about being called out than just do better. If something as simple as taking a shower and using soap causes outrage, imagine what happens when you start talking about real accountability.
Oh, by the way, that there's a lot of different cultures that do different things. Like, not all hair types need to be washed every single day. But I'm just saying, out of all the cultures that I have been friends with or I have visited or lived in, us whites are really unique. And out of all my Black friends, like, there's a reason that on here, Black women talking about body care and like different things they use, it's because Black women like really take it to another level. Like, Black women are some of the cleanest women I have ever met and take very, very good care of themselves. The skin is always skinning. And I've seen some people break down like why this is, that white people like do not shower every day or aren't as into their hygiene. And I have a personal take on it. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I haven't seen it. But I really feel like it's this idea that white people have that they are just innately cleaner than like everybody else. Like white people are just clean. We're just so clean. And that's the reason that a lot of white people feel like they don't need to shower every day or every other day, or, you know, I don't even know how much. And simultaneously, I think that some of those white people also view like other races to not be cleanly, but they literally view their whiteness as cleanliness. And I think that has to do with like some white people like feeling like whiteness is pure and clean and better than and whatever. I feel like maybe that's the root of it, but that's just my take. And also, as someone who's dated a variety of races, like I like every person, I more like the person for who they are. Of all the men I've dated, I will honestly say I feel like, unfortunately, white men struggle the most with their hygiene.
You know what's wild? We've reached a point where basic hygiene has become a debate topic. People are out here arguing about brushing their teeth, washing their legs, and taking showers like it's some kind of optional lifestyle. And what this guy said about women bragging that their husbands don't wash before bed, that's a different level of comfort. Imagine coming home after a long day full of sweat, dirt, and stress, and just diving into bed like nothing happened. No shower, no soap, no sense of awareness. What's even crazier is how confidently people defend it. Oh, I don't need to wash every day. Really? We've turned self-neglect into self-expression. Somewhere along the line, do what makes you happy became an excuse for not doing what's necessary. And when he mentioned taking showers as a form of meditation, that hit deep, because that's what self-care actually is. Taking a moment to recharge, reflect, and respect your own body. But instead, we've got people laughing about not washing while expecting others to find them attractive, committed, or high value. Let's be real. Hygiene says a lot about your mindset. If you can't handle small disciplines like keeping yourself clean, how are you going to manage the real responsibilities that come with a relationship, a career, or even parenthood? But here's the subtle irony. Some people genuinely believe cleanliness is automatic, like it's tied to image, status, or race. I'm clean because I look clean. That's not how this works. Cleanliness isn't aesthetic, it's effort. And this part right here, when he said some people feel automatically clean by default because of how they look or where they come from, that's the delusion of perception over reality. We've built a culture that values looking good over being good, and that extends beyond hygiene. It's the same mindset you see in dating, success, and self-worth today. At the end of the day, whether you're a man or woman, black or white, soap doesn't discriminate. Wash your body, care for yourself, and take pride in your habits. Because if the basics are optional to you, don't be surprised when your relationship's reputation and respect start to fade too.